The age-old debate. PlayStation versus Xbox, a debate that still hasn't been truly won by either in any of their consoles, except for the PS2. After both last generation versions of these consoles come to the end of their life cycles, let's take a look back at the new generation of Xbox and PlayStation consoles to see which is better. Should you pre-order a PS5 or an Xbox Series X? It's a tough one. Both Sony and Microsoft's next generation consoles promise blazing fast performance, stunning 8K visuals, and a slew of must-have launch titles. Either way, there's not long to wait. The Xbox Series X is confirmed for November and the PS5 is expected to hit shops around the same time. So as the next console war heats up, let's compare the two machines and see which one comes out on top. If you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and also hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos. I'm going to be posting more of these Is It Worth It every week, and by you hitting the subscribe button, you'll be showing your support. But without further ado, let's get right into it. I already know plenty of details about how the PS5 and the Xbox Series X will shape up, including how they look, what's under the hood, and how the controls will change, and which games you should get your hands on first. In this versus, I will take into consideration specs, exclusives, controllers, design and usability like menus, etc. to see which console is better and what one you should buy. This debate of PlayStation vs Xbox is getting increasingly harder to do as both of the consoles are very similar in specs and usability. Like I said in my Xbox One in 2020 video, I outlined many points that make a console dominate in this competition, specifically exclusives. A brief history of these gaming powerhouses would highlight Xbox's hardships, releasing their first console, which was superior in many aspects when compared to the PlayStation 2. But yet, the PS2 sold a ton more units, basically making the fight already won for Sony as soon as the console was released. In 2005, we saw the Xbox make a comeback against PlayStation by releasing the 360 console, which trumped the PS3 at launch by being way cheaper in comparison. But in the later years of each console, the PS3 took out the 360 in sold units by 1 million. It has always been a close race between each of the consoles. Now fast forward to today, and the next generation of consoles are on the horizon, and us gamers are getting ready for their release. From Microsoft, we have Xbox Scarlet. From PlayStation, we have PS5. Both consoles feature incredibly similar specs, so it'll be quite difficult to tell which one is superior. The PlayStation 5 will ship with an AMD Ryzen chip and a GPU from the Radeon Navi family. It also comes with SSD storage. The promise from this trio of hardware is fast load times, large bandwidth capabilities, and oodles of graphics grunt. Whether that is true, native 8K gaming remains to be seen, but the PS5 is certainly capable of it. From the PS5, Sony announced the specs of their console to have an AMD 8-core Zen 2 CPU, clocked at 3.5 GHz. This CPU can provide resolutions up to 4K and apparently 8K, but I have some skepticisms about this. You can see my PS5 video here about that. And the support for 120Hz refresh rate. The CPU is the desktop equivalent of the AMD 3800X. This CPU looks very promising for Sony. For Xbox, they announced it to have the exact same CPU as the PS5, an AMD 8-core Zen 2, although it has a higher clock speed by running at 3.9 GHz, close to 4 GHz. The higher clock speed in many games doesn't really make a difference unless developers know how to take advantage of it, which I see happening. You may think that the Xbox would win here as it has a higher clock speed, but Sony stated in an interview that the PS5 could have its CPU frequency boosted. Right now, we don't have a lot of information on how much more frequency you would get out of it, but for that sake, I'll give the PS5 the win here, but not by much. Both consoles will feature extremely powerful GPUs that will push out games with ray tracing capabilities and have high resolutions. Both these consoles will do 4K resolutions and will do it natively. Both machines will use solid-state hard drives and GDDR6 RAM memory. This killer combo will drastically reduce or even eliminate loading times. According to Sony, loading up a game on the PS5 will take 10 times faster than on a PS4. Your games will start instantly and you won't have to endure lengthy pauses between scenes or dipping in and out of maps. It's been revealed that the PS5 will sport an expandable 825GB SSD at launch, while the Xbox Series X comes with a 1TB and is also expandable. For storage capabilities, Microsoft has confirmed that the Xbox Series X will come with a 1TB internal SSD, and that it will be expandable through 1TB of expansion packs that have been designed in conjunction with storage specialist Seagate. These dense little units are very much like the classic look of memory cards. There was no comment on whether there'll be versions of the console with different amounts of internal storage. We now know that the PS5 will come with an internal 825GB SSD, as I said before. Thankfully, Sony says PS5 owners will be able to expand their console storage by, number 1, expanding the internal SSD storage, though it's not yet clear whether doing so would involve replacing the existing 825GB SSD or adding an extra one. Number 2, connecting an external drive to the PS5 via a USB, but it seems likely that such a drive won't be fast enough to handle PS5 games. Instead, you could use it to store PS4 games or PS5 progress. The PlayStation is no stranger to slot in and slot out external hardware, and would likely free up valuable extra space for game libraries. With rumors of a $200 all-digital Xbox Series X and confirmation of a PS5 digital edition, these more affordable versions of the main console could help tempt gamers on a budget. All we've been told is the pricing and additional details for the console will be announced at a later date. For backwards compatibility, both Sony and Microsoft has said that they will support backwards compatibility to some degree, meaning that PS5 and Xbox Series X will be able to play some of the older titles from previous console generations. So that means that we may be able to play Xbox 360 games or even PS3 games. Sony has called the backwards compatibility of the PS5 incredibly powerful. While the PS5 won't play every single PS4 title, Hideaki Nishino stated in our blog that we believe that the overwhelming majority of 4,000 plus PS4 titles will be playable on PS5. Better still, those PS4 games that do make it onto the PS5 will do so with higher or more stable frame rates and potentially higher resolutions. Sony has been tight-lipped about the details, but one online report suggests that the PlayStation 5 will be able to act as an emulator for PS3, PS2, or even original PlayStation games, but there is no official confirmation on this. As for Xbox Series X, Microsoft has said that it will deliver 4 generations of content, better than you've ever seen them before. In other words, the Series X could accommodate Xbox One, Xbox 360, and even original Xbox titles. Indeed, Microsoft has already added backwards compatibility to over 600 Xbox and Xbox 360 games for its current consoles, like the Xbox One, which are expected to become available to the Series X owners at launch. Now for the controller. We know both consoles will be getting new controllers. Sony revealed its pad called the PS5 DualSense back in April. It's a sleek and modern looking design with a two-tone finish. Haptics have replaced the rumble technology to deliver more realistic feedback and nuanced sensations. The left 2 and right 2 triggers are now adaptive so players can feel more tension carrying out certain actions. The Xbox Series X controller also has some new tricks up its sleeve. It features slightly evolved physical designs, with more rounded bumpers and triggers with more textured ergonomic grips. The D-pad's hybrid designs involve a deeper dish for your thumb to rest in, and the angles are finely tuned to give you a good amount of leverage with minimal movement. The idea is to create a device that works better with a variety of hands. There's also a USB-C charger, indicating a built-in rechargeable battery.
Oh, thank you, finally!
And we know that that controller will be compatible with Xbox One consoles. Haptic feedback, lower latency, and a share button for sending screenshots to friends are also to be expected. Now, for the video quality. The good news is that both PS5 and Xbox Series X will boast optical disc drives. Sony has already confirmed that the PS5 will play 4K Blu-rays, and while Xbox hasn't said the same thing about the Series X, we expect it to be a formality. As for the video quality, both machines are capable of screening 4K at 60 FPS and feature similar chipsets, so both cams should deliver impressive performance. However, I will be testing the picture quality of both of the earliest opportunity. Xbox has confirmed that it would likely include a high-speed HDMI cable in the box to connect to your display. It should come in particular handy if your display has HDMI 2.1 inputs and can take advantage of the Xbox's features such as high frame rates up to 120 FPS and a variable refresh rate, known as VRR. As it stands today, Microsoft has a significant edge over Sony when it comes to gaming audio. The current Xbox One consoles feature Dolby Atmos and DTS-X for gaming, while Sony's PS4 consoles are only limited to standard surround sound. Will the launch of PS5 level the playing field? We know that the Xbox Series X supports Dolby Atmos, DTS-X, and Windows Sonic, but we don't know the specifics of the PS5 apart from the confirmation that it will support 3D audio. Given it that it includes a 4K Blu-ray drive, we'd be surprised and disappointed if Sony's console didn't tick the Dolby and DTS boxes. Not to be outdone, Microsoft has teamed up with Bang & Olufsen to create the high-end audio proposition for the Xbox Series X. Details have yet to be announced, but it seems that B&O hasn't been enlisted to inject its formidable audio engineering expertise into the next-gen console. In theory, You can hook up your Xbox to a theater and it will deliver crystal clear Dolby Atmos that will immerse you. Now on a lighter note, considering Sony's past with audio equipment and how all their consoles have had an edge in sound quality and immersion, I know for a fact that Sony would not skip out on audio capabilities for the PS5. With the PS5 and the Xbox Series X offering a slew of mouth-watering launch titles, choosing which console deserves a place under your TV could be tricky. Microsoft recently showed gameplay footage from a number of new third-party titles, including Assassin's Creed Valhalla. At the company's Xbox Game Showcase, it revealed 22 new launch exclusives and 5 new games made for the console by Microsoft's own Xbox studios. All of these games will also be available through the Xbox Game Pass. Highlights include the new installment of Halo, Halo Infinite, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, State of Decay, Crossfire X, Tetris Effect, and Forza Motorsport. Xbox has even teased a reboot of the much-loved Fable franchise. Jeez, we haven't seen a Fable game in ages, holy crap. Sadly, Halo Infinite developer 343 Industries recently announced that the game would be delayed until 2021 due to multiple factors including the ongoing COVID-related impacts. Microsoft has said that there will be over 100 optimized Xbox Series X titles planned for this year, and that the next-gen console will launch with thousands of games spanning from 4 generations of Xbox. At the same event as the PS5 unveiling, Sony treated us to game engine footage and gameplay footage of a number of PS5 titles that will be launching at the end of 2020 and beyond. These include Gran Turismo 7, which is due in 2021, Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is due holiday 2020, Resident Evil 8 The Village, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Oddworld Soulstorm. PS5 will also come with a standalone version of Grand Theft Auto Online, which you will be able to claim and play at launch, provided you have PlayStation Plus. This will be followed in 2021 by an enhanced version of Grand Theft Auto 5, which will also be available at Xbox Series X. Ubisoft's hotly anticipated Watch Dogs Legion was originally due to be launched on PlayStation 4 in spring of 2020, but now it's being held back for the launch of the PlayStation 5. The same goes for Gods and Monsters. Ubisoft's Rainbow Six Quarantine has also been delayed and is expected to be confirmed for the PS5 soon. A slew of 2 console PS4 and PS5 games are in the pipeline too. Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding, for example, has been launched on the PS4 but is expected to grace the PS5. Talking about PS4, those hoping to see a futuristic Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk 2077 will have to wait until September. Now, what's the verdict? The console war between Sony and Microsoft is set to reach new heights in 2020 with a launch of highly powered hardware. Both consoles will launch with an epic lineup of games, and if you're lucky enough to own an 8K TV, we're hoping that they'll both serve a truly epic 8K gaming experience. Now, which machine is better? That really depends on whether you've built up a PlayStation or Xbox library. So far, it seems that Sony's PS5 could offer more of an impressive range of features and accessories, while Microsoft's all-digital Xbox, rumored to cost as little as $200, could be the best bet for gamers on a budget. That said, until Sony and Microsoft reveal all, either way, November 2020 is going to be interesting as all hype goes to another level. Check out my Discord link down in the description below, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.